On the 20th of August 1977, it left Earth, riding a Titan Centaur rocket straight into the deep unknown. This wasn't some high-tech marvel. It had less memory than the cheapest calculator in your drawer today, with just 256 kilobytes of memory and powered by less than 23 watts of radio strength. At the time, this piece was the pinnacle of human creativity. It was built never to return. But Voyager 2 didn't need brains. It had direction, purpose, and guts. For nearly 50 years, it has been drifting, first past the giants like Jupiter with its swirling storms, past Saturn's icy rings, then Uranus and Neptune, cold and distant like silent sentinels. Once those were behind it, Voyager 2 didn't stop. It kept pushing into the void and into interstellar space. We began what is now called the Voyager interstellar mission. We were on a path we hoped would reach interstellar space while we still had power on the spacecraft to transmit the data back. Mind you, there was no map to guide its movement, just darkness and the hum of radiation. On launch, Voyager 2 defied expectations. It was designed to take advantage of a rare planetary alignment to visit all four gas giants, a feat not possible with a single trajectory under normal circumstances. Its launch also preserved the possibility of an extended mission to Uranus and Neptune. Some of its known feats include a remarkable discovery it made at Jupiter, where it discovered a thin ring around the planet and a previously unknown moon, Adrestia. At Uranus, Voyager 2 discovered 10 new moons and 2 new rings. It further went on to discover 5 new moons, 4 rings, and a great dark spot at Neptune. Following its Neptune encounter, Voyager 2 continued its journey and became the second spacecraft, after Voyager 1, to cross the heliopause and enter interstellar space. It became the only spacecraft to have visited either of the ice giant planets and was the third of 5 spacecraft to achieve solar escape velocity, which allowed it to leave the solar system. On its side sits a strange artifact, the Golden Record. This is not a mission log or a command device. It is a gold-plated invitation. This disk is designed to spin in Earth units at 16 2/3 revolutions per Earth minute. There is nothing to it once it is going, but it is just cool. Earth's music, our greetings, a baby crying, like a message in a bottle tossed into a galactic ocean, hoping someone or something might hear. And in May 2025, over 20.8 billion kilometers away, that bottle bobbed. Voyager 2 sent something back. Not noise, not static, but something real. A signal so strange, so unexpected, that it is making scientists grip their desks. Because Voyager is not just alive, it is also noticing. And whatever it touched, whatever anomaly, interference, or intelligence, it was not supposed to be out there, at least not according to every model we have drawn up for the edge of the solar system. And yet, there it is, a whisper from the darkness. And it did not just raise eyebrows, it made the entire deep space network lean in. And that lean was not just curiosity, it was a concern. Because what Voyager found was not just unexpected, it was impossible. Try wrapping your head around this. A probe built when rotary phones were a thing managed to uncover alien worlds we did not even know existed. And now, nearly half a century later, the buzz surrounding Voyager 2 is not just nostalgia. It is about what it saw before vanishing into the black. Long before it picked up that eerie signal, Voyager 2 was already shaking up everything we thought we knew. When it launched in 1977, its mission sounded like science fiction. Hit 4 gas giants in one go, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and beam back their secrets. And somehow, it nailed every target. Jupiter was the first in July 1979, and what Voyager sent home looked like madness. If Voyager aimed itself at the point where Jupiter was going to be by the time it arrived, it revealed a planet boiling with storms the size of Earth, spinning like paint on a canvas. Then there was Io, one of its moons, erupting with lava like Earth's crust had a fever. No one saw that coming. 2 years later, it reached Saturn in August 1981. The rings were not just rings. They were rippling, warped highways of ice and rock, delicate but violent, shaped by hidden moons and gravitational whispers we had not even guessed at. The next stop was Uranus in January 1986. And no, it was not just a punchline. The whole planet was tilted on its side like someone had knocked it over. Its magnetic field was all kinds of twisted, and hiding in its orbit were 11 moons no one had ever counted before. Then came Neptune in August 1989, Voyager's final planetary encounter. The images looked unreal, an ocean blue gas giant with a dark storm swirling like a galactic eye. And then there was Triton, spewing geysers of ice into space like a frozen volcano on fast forward. These were wake-up calls. Voyager 2 took fuzzy dots from textbooks and turned them into rich, dynamic worlds, chaotic, strange, and beautiful in ways we were not prepared for. It rewrote our understanding of the outer solar system, one jaw-dropping image at a time. But here is where it gets really interesting. After Neptune, most probes would have gone silent, just another piece of space junk. Voyager 2 hit the gas and aimed straight for the edge of the sun's reach, past the planets, past the light, and into nothing. But that leap was not the end of the story. In fact, it was only the beginning of something far more unsettling. Voyager 2 did not just escape the sun's grip, it slammed straight into something we did not even know was there. That final leap was not just a casual drift into space, it was more like Voyager 2 tearing through the invisible skin of our solar system. 1 second it was under the sun's protection, the next, it was alone in the dark. On November 5, 2018, nearly 18 billion kilometers from Earth, it crossed the heliopause, the invisible line where the sun's influence fizzles out and the wild, untamed interstellar medium takes over. Think of the heliopause as a bubble wrap around our solar system. They are very near the edge of the bubble the sun creates around itself, called the heliosphere, cooked up by the sun's solar wind, shielding us from the galaxy's high-energy cosmic rays. We thought it was a smooth boundary. What Voyager 2 found out there did not match the textbook sketches. The interstellar medium was denser than expected, packed with plasma thicker than anything inside the sun's bubble. Its magnetometer picked up weird magnetic fields, twisted and misaligned, like the galaxy was playing a cosmic game of tug-of-war. Voyager's instruments caught spikes in cosmic rays, hints of invisible forces clashing where our star's reach ends. This was not just empty space, it was alive, chaotic, a frontier where the rules of our solar system do not apply. But that was not the weird part. The weird part was the silence. No solar noise, no predictable patterns, just raw, unpredictable signals, the kind that made scientists stare at their screens a little too long. Some described it as a frontier breathing on its own. Voyager was not floating into calm, it was more like falling into a storm no one could see. And the signals kept coming. In 2025, something in the data shifted. The cosmic rays were spiking in patterns that did not make sense. Something was pushing back, not just turbulence but resistance, and not from the galaxy, but from the edge itself. Like the boundary was not a door, it was a warning. But Voyager 2 did not listen to that warning. It kept going, and then it turned back. And so it was up to Voyager 2 to take on this challenge. But in order to get there, Voyager 2 had to thread the needle through space. Early suggestions say it might be hiding a secret, a boundary that is not as safe as we thought, something that could shake our understanding of the cosmos to its core. If that boundary really is a warning, then it is time more people knew. 7 months of silence, then out of nowhere, Voyager 2 sent a signal. Not just a routine check-in, but something that rattled NASA to its core. What was thought to be a quiet void turned out to be a cosmic stage for something wild. That dark was not empty, it was hiding something, and Voyager 2 had just brushed against it. NASA successfully averted a problem. Its engineers had sent a wrong signal to Voyager 2 and had lost contact for nearly about 10 days. Back in March 2020, everything went quiet. There was no blip and no data stream. One of the most distant man-made objects in the universe had just gone mute. Officially, it was blamed on maintenance. The Goldstone antenna, NASA's massive 70-meter dish in California, was getting a tune-up, so naturally, communication would be interrupted. Except the silence did not stop when the repairs ended. Weeks passed, then months, but still nothing. Inside NASA's Deep Space Network, optimism started to fade. Engineers began whispering the unthinkable. Maybe Voyager 2 had finally shut down for good. After all, this probe was over 40 years old, limping through space on a decaying nuclear battery with less juice than a nightlight. And then, on October 29, 2020, everything changed. NASA fired off a command into the void, more of a shot in the dark than a real attempt, but something answered. It was loud, clear, and precise. Voyager 2 sent back a full stream of data, confirming it had realigned its antenna, executed the command, and against all odds, was still alive and functioning. By finding the probe's carrier signal, NASA was able to confirm that Voyager 2 is still broadcasting. But that was not the strange part. The strange part was what came next. Data started pouring in from systems that had not been active since the 1980s. Instruments no one expected to ever hear from again suddenly lit up. And what they were transmitting did not look like routine readings, they looked patterned. There were layered pulses, repeating echoes, and binary signals looping on themselves. It was almost as if Voyager was not just transmitting, it was relaying something, like it had picked up a message and was trying to repeat it. NASA said it was radiation interference. They further suspected background noise or even a glitch. But behind closed doors, a different conversation was happening. Seasoned engineers were replaying the data. Some checked their calculations twice. Others just stared at the screen, unsure of what they were even looking at. Because this was not a reboot, it was more like a wake-up call. And something out there might have placed the call. But the call was not the end. What happened after Voyager turned back made scientists question whether we were ever really alone. Voyager 2 did not just drift, it turned like it saw something and got spooked. But what could frighten a probe surrounded by nothing but stars? That boundary, whatever it was, did not just push back, it made Voyager flinch. In early 2025, deep inside NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, a quiet alert appeared on the telemetry feed. Voyager 2, floating alone more than 20.8 billion kilometers from Earth, had made a movement, not a malfunction, not even a random spin, but a deliberate, measured turn. Well, there is hope that NASA could regain control of the lost Voyager 2 probe after a heartbeat signal was picked up. For a spacecraft with decades-old wiring and a power supply barely strong enough to run a desk lamp, that kind of move does not just happen. Its thrusters had not performed any scheduled adjustments. Its programming had not issued a course correction. And yet, here it was, tilting slightly, almost as if trying to look away.